Hey everybody, so in the last chapter, chapter 6, A Poor Start, we saw Olivine on her way through the canyons, and then she was attacked by a jackrabbit who was trying to steal her purse, but she managed to fight him off, and now we are off to chapter 7, Some Assistance. Bouse plodded along, grumbling under his breath. Occasionally, to cheer himself up, he would take a moment to sniff an interesting rock or stick. He was wiggling his snout in a patch of grass when a flash of movement caught his attention. Like all javelinas, Bouse did not have the best eyesight. It took him a moment to focus on the animal bounding toward him. The first thing he could make out were the ears, one massive ear, and the other missing a chunk. Bouse's eyes went wide. It was Oro, the jackrabbit. What was he doing on the trail? Bouse flung himself behind a boulder, hoping Oro hadn't spied him. Oro came closer, limping. With a huff, he collapsed onto the same boulder that Bouse cowered behind. Bouse shrank back. The jackrabbit punched his fist into the palm of his paw. "That stinking quail," Oro said. "Quail?" Bouse swallowed. "What quail?" Surely Oro couldn't be talking about Olivine. Oro stamped his foot. "I'll get Romy and Chauncey, then I'll track her down and get that map." He let out a snarl. "It will be the last of her." Well, crack me open and call me a geode, thought Bouse. Oro knows Olivine has the map. But how? Did he follow Hazel to Redwall as well? Had he seen her mail the map? That was the only way he could know. I bet it was that vulture of his, Bouse supposed. He's always lurking about. Bouse peeked out, sniffing in Oro's direction. He caught a whiff of a bird. Olivine? Oro hopped to his feet, and Bouse recoiled. Muttering bitterly to himself, the jackrabbit stomped down the trail. Bouse stood up, the coarse hairs on his back bristling. He had to find Olivine, and he needed to find her before Oro did. The last thing he wanted to do was have another run-in with the jackrabbit and his goons. As he hastened down the trail, he wished Forepaw had come with him. Olivine lay on the trail, her legs and wings splayed. Here and there, her body jerked as she snored. It was then that a musical whistling rose in the air. A gangly, tawny-colored coyote sauntered down the trail. In his paw, he twirled a maroon velvet pouch. He wore a belt that had a variety of other drawstring bags tied to it. He stopped when he sighted Olivine, sprawled in the dirt. The coyote stared at her, scrunching his brows together. He fastened the maroon pouch to the belt and looked up and down the trail. Seeing no one around, he reached out and poked her in the belly. Olivine's eyes shot open. They rolled around in her head, catching glimpses of the trail, the canyons, the coyote. She let out a scream. "Is that necessary?" the coyote said, looking down his snout at her. Olivine stared at his sharp teeth. "Who are you? Are you going to eat me?" The coyote let out a howl of a laugh. Olivine flinched at the sight of even more teeth. "No, I'm not going to eat you." He wiped at his eye. "I thought you were dead. You're lying in the road, in case you didn't know." Olivine sat up, the ugly scene with the jackrabbit flooding back to her. "It seems you're quite alive, so I'll be on my way." He gave her a wave and began down the trail. Olivine watched him go, still groggy. She pulled her legs close to her chest and looked around. Where did the jackrabbit go, she wondered. The coyote grew smaller in the distance. Around her, the bushes creaked in a gust of wind. Far away, there was a dreadful screech that made her jump. She realized once the coyote was gone, she would be utterly alone. And she had no idea where she was. She climbed to her feet and scurried after him, moving so fast her feet were a blur. "Wait, please," Olivine called. The coyote halted and turned. "Please, don't leave me here. I don't know where I am, and I need to get to Redwall." "Redwall? This trail goes to Flat-Topped Rock. Redwall is back that way, across the river. There's a bridge." "What?" she said, her shoulders drooping. She had wasted the whole morning going the wrong way. "Please," she said, her voice breaking. "It's important. My friend needs me. Can you take me there?" The coyote scoffed. "To Redwall? You must have hit your head. I don't have time to go all that way. I'm going to the riverport, and then I'm getting out of these canyons. Good luck to you." "Please," Olivine said. "Oh, but you have to help me." The coyote strolled on, acting as if she wasn't even there. Her face burned. "Stop," she said, her voice reverberating off the canyon walls. And the coyote did. He stared at her, and she wondered if he was considering eating her now. She let out a breath. "Don't you understand? I need your help. It's a serious matter." The coyote squinted at her. She pouted her beak. "Yeah, I don't think so," he said, and he went on down the trail. "You're going to leave me out here? I don't know where I am. I'll die." He blew out a great breath, flapping his muzzle. Then he threw up his paws. "Me and my empathy." He shook his head with a sigh. "All right, I'll take you, but that's it. After that, you're on your own." Olivine wanted to sob. Thank you, she said. The coyote waved a paw at her. "Yeah, sure. Let's just get going. Sooner we're there, sooner I can get on with my life." Olivine dabbed at her eyes. "Which way?" "I know a shortcut to the bridge. Hope you don't mind heights." Olivine gulped. After a short time on the trail, the coyote led Olivine through a crack in the canyon wall. At first, she didn't even notice it until he slipped through. On the other side, they traveled along a narrow fissure. The walls nearly touched and made the sky look like a slash of water at the bottom of a gorge. Olivine kept her eyes forward and fought off the feeling that the walls were closing in on them. The coyote wiggled forward, seemingly unfazed. Finally, the fissure began to widen, feeding them into a corridor overgrown with brush. The coyote pushed through. Olivine stuck close, hopping about to avoid the limbs that swung back at her. There was a cracking sound behind her, like a twig breaking. Olivine whipped around. Was the jackrabbit hiding somewhere in the brush? Nothing stirred. She turned back to hurry after the coyote. Whack! A branch launched her into the air. Crash! She landed in a bush. The coyote laughed and it ricocheted off the rocks. He tramped over to her. "What are you doing?" "Me? You did this," she said. "You hit me with the branch." She squirmed and pushed her wings against the plant, but she was thoroughly wedged. "Help me," she said indignantly. The coyote plucked her from the bush, set her on her feet, and patted her head feather. Olivine slapped his paw away. What a boorish coyote, she thought. She couldn't wait to be home where critters were civilized. With as much dignity as she could muster, she brushed her feathers clean of twigs and leaves. The coyote fought back a smile. "You should watch where you're going." Olivine glared at him. "What is your name, by the way?" said the coyote. She crossed her wings. "It's Olivine." And that brings us to the end of chapter 7. This is kind of one of my favorite chapters because it introduces the coyote, who will learn his name shortly. But if you are interested, there will be a link in the description where you can purchase the book on Amazon. And I hope to see you next time for chapter 8.